Woohoo! Hey everybody. Oh, Leslie Plazz here for my Zazoo Plazz report. January 22nd? Yeah, 22nd, 2023. It's National Polka Dot Day. Woohoo! It's also raining here in Connecticut. You know, you hear all these you look online, like, oh, East Coast, New England's gonna get a big snowstorm. Yeah, right. I'm out here with my rain pants. I got my rain pants on. Is this gonna work? No, it's not gonna work. Do it. As usual, I'm having a great day. I'm having a great time. It's just, what is today? Is today a 7-day or an 8-day? Anyway, so I'm prepared. I got my umbrella just in case, but it's just too much. I can't talk and hold my notebook and keep my hands warm and everything. So, oh, my notes are going to get a little smudgy. Zazoo Plazz report. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No, that's a waltz. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. That's a polka. I know. Little known fact. Dating my husband, he says, oh, I got my CPA. I said, oh, really? Impressed, you know, because I've dated CPAs, and I know it's hard to get that designation, you know. I was in the business school, and I was a finance major, so I didn't get mine, but there were, you know, the thing was, if you were a finance major, you probably go and, you know, if you were going into finance, you get maybe your CFP, or if you went the financial planning route, you know, your Series 7 and all that, which I did get. And then there were the accountants, you know, who I was not among. And most of those people at some point would go and get their CPA. You know, that was, you know, and maybe an MBA if they were, you know, sufficiently, they needed it. But a lot of us finance people got our MBAs. That'd have been good if it didn't me. Standing out here in the rain, doing my Zazoo Plazz report. But anyway, so, oh wait, I deviated. So yeah, so he says, oh, I got my CPA. This is back in like 94. I don't know. He may have told me when we had already been married, but I guess it wouldn't have made any difference. I said, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, my certificate of polka achievement. It's my husband's Polish. You know. So that explains why, you know, the first time we danced, we did kind of like this cuddle thing, you know, where you go around and then you come back and, you know, you dance like this. There were 2 camps at our wedding. There was the French side that was, you know, my family, and then there was the side that knew how to polka dance. So they came together in a big circle, and you know, we've got video of, you know, my parents in there with his parents and all the aunts and uncles and several of my mother's friends who actually were Polish descent, Polish American. And, you know, they come out of the woodwork and they're like doing the polka. My mother's like, oh, I never knew you knew how to do the polka. But then what happened, since it is Polka Dot Day, and I'm proud of my polka dot dress collection. Whoops! Because I have these polka dot dresses. I have a black polka dot one, like Lucille Ball's, that I wore to not only my mother's memorial funeral mass, but my son's graduation. I just swapped the pearls for like a yellow pendant and a blue purse, because their school colors are yellow and blue. So, you know, from somber to celebratory. The black and white polka dot dress can go anywhere. It's brilliant. And then I had a green and white polka dot one that, I write about this in the book. Um, that I had a couple. One of them served as my um, green circle dress for when I was in the environmental planning State Department, and we used to, and I was in charge, helping to plan this like environmental awards thing. And we'd invite, we used to give awards to companies and individuals who were, environmentally sustainable, who were doing things back then, like in 2016, 2015, doing, they were ahead of the game. Now everybody does it. But back then, we used to have these, and we'd have nice little award ceremonies, and I used to try to get everybody to come, back then I was, my cause was the environment. Well, it still is, but it's different now. That was the beginning, and I'd say, come on, submit an application. The applications would come in, and then I'd get everything ready to present to the judges, and then the judges would make their choices, and then I would, and I'd have to do all the media and write the copy and issue the invitations and all that. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And then when I left, they stopped doing it. Before, so I kind of, so I bought this dress. It was green with white polka dots on it. It's gorgeous. So then I ended up wearing the dress like to my son's high school I wore it to 2 high school graduations, 2018 and 2021. For the 2 boys. And then I wore it a bunch of other times, so I got my money's, the thing with the polka dot dress. Oh, and then my friend, who I used to be in this women's club with, she now runs this, it's called the Second Chance thrift store nearby in Connecticut. There's many of them, but she's a high-powered executive, and now she's semi-retired. She can't retire because she's still too young. But she's over there, and the money she raises selling people's clothing that they don't wear anymore, which is still in great shape and it's awesome, and designer and all this and that, she gives the money to this organization for women and children, families that, it's called the Village, or something, for children and families, and they take that money and they help women and their children, which I think is an awesome thing. So, there are ways you can take your skills from, whatever your 9-to-5 job was, right? And take it to where it's needed now. Just like the polka dot dress, see? In other words, it's still the same awesome dress, but instead of wearing it, that's how we have to be now with our skills, like the polka dot dress. I have many more polka dot dress stories, all of them, most of them career related, some personal, but that's the brilliant thing about the polka dot. The polka dot, whatever, dress, blouse, thing, it can be repurposed, right? Polka dots are a little bit of fun, a little bit of whimsy that you can kind of, use to spruce up the ordinary. Lucille Ball knew that. She knew she used the quirky. It fit her perfectly, right? So she was still presenting herself as a, I'm still the woman, the little woman, but I'm so much more than that. I've got a wicked sense of humor, and I'm running a comedy company. I'm running a production studio. But don't I look gorgeous doing it, She showed up. That's the brilliance. Lucille Ball was amazing. Genius. But, she came up with a wardrobe that, that spoke to her own individual talents and abilities and body, and how she wanted to present to the world. So, oh boy, all the words are blurring in front of my All right, so I'm getting wet here. And I got to go back and make my nice turkey chili in the Instapot because it's quick. I don't have all day to sit around putting things in the crock pot. But yeah, happy year of the rabbit. It is Chinese New Year. There's a new moon in Aquarius. and it's the perfect time to talk about this stuff. Yeah. Whew, I got a lot to talk about today, so I better get going. Yeah, so I want to talk about so how I came to the song. Oh wait, should we talk about the rabbit first? We talked about the polka dots. All right, so rabbits. Okay, so it all kind of ties together. Aquarius, right? Rules. Okay, we're coming into the sign of Aquarius, which rules, the future, groups, communities, right? And so, how did I come upon this? Okay, first thing I have to talk about, how I came to the song for the week, okay? Which is 2 songs actually by Exposé. Remember the group Exposé with the accent on the E? All right, 80s, right? From one end of the 80s to the other. There was actually, remember those Exposé, 3 girls, right? And you watch the videos, right? You feel like you're, a teenager again, back in the 80s, going around with our neon workout clothes. I was in college when they came out. High school. No, college. So, okay. So, what made me think of Exposé was that song, Point of No Return. And the thing that tipped me off to Point of No Return was a pesto food experiment that I had this week that went terribly wrong. So I was trying to be, like the rabbit, right? Showing off, how fast can I go? You people are so slow. I'm going to show you, I can do all this and do my videos and do my, this, and I got to get faster and I got to get more efficient and I got to da. So I'm talking to my, husband. He's there, and he's, doing his stuff. He's trying to take care of his mom, and because she needs, so she's got somebody to help her now at home, so she can stay in her house, and she needs a little, somebody to help her keep up the house, and just make meals and things. But she's, she's rocking it on her own. God bless her. 93. So. We're in the same year as Audrey Hepburn. Anyway, so I'm trying to be like the rabbit, right? Like, oh, you tortoises, I'm going to get there. And then, this is where the fail comes in. Instead of saying, gee, I had a busy day, why don't I just have leftover stew with the rest of you people? No, I got to try to make chicken pesto pasta in the it's the pot, right? And it's like 9 o'clock because I'm doing all this stuff. I can't cook after 8 p.m. I'm going to do it today, but so the fail, right? So this is a common theme in Zazoo Plazz, right? I cannot zoom. Okay, we're still okay. So I'm doing all this stuff. I get you put the chicken in, and then the water, and then the pasta, and then you're supposed to after that it was all cooked. Then I was supposed to pour the pesto sauce on top, put all the vegetables in, and put it back on for, 10 minutes or whatever. So I'm talking, and what was happening was somebody had sent me this newspaper, and it claimed to have, to be exposing all the lies. We have the truth, and I don't know, it had some Chinese name on, and it was, I said, oh my God. So I'm like, oh, put that thing in the recycling bin. No, let me, and I was lunging at it, trying to rip it up and put it in the recycling bin, and wondering who the heck was sending me this garbage, when I forgot that the pesto was in a glass jar. It's like, it comes like this. And all of my other sauces are in, the plastic kind that you can slam on the counter. One time, my boys were young, and Mom got so mad, I took a wooden spoon and I slammed it down on the granite counter. and the head of the spoon went flying, pew, right past the nose of one of my kids. And they're like, "Oh, Mommy's mad." I said, "Oh, sorry, sweetie, didn't hurt. Nobody got hurt." I did, however, have to get a new spoon. But somebody was making me mad. And I don't yell. So, but sometimes I don't realize my own strength. And I was cooking, and I didn't mean to slam it down, but it just happened. The spoon met with the counter, and that was that. And it was a pretty flimsy spoon. So what we had was a perfectly good dinner and a broken jar, glass shards, and pesto all over the counter on my jeans. I didn't realize that till later when I sat down to work. And I had used this little dust broom, to sweep the glass and the pesto off the counter. Needless to say, I had to put the whole thing in the trash because I didn't feel right about it. Plus, I tried to make my own pasta with a little basil and some oil, and it was disgusting. So, anyway, while I was throwing the pasta out, I got some on my jeans. So later, I cleaned everything up. I had my leftover stew. I'm sitting down. That's not my incense. I said, "Oh, shoot. I had cleaned it off, but the pesto was inground into the fibers of my jeans. And I couldn't work. I had to take my pants off." This is going to be a good one. I'm in the mud here. Standing in the mud. All right. Do you make sacrifices at your work? Okay. So anyway, you got the rabbit who thinks, you people, I'm way faster than you. Meanwhile, my husband had already had his dinner. He was off watching his show or whatever, and I'm I'm cleaning up pesto at midnight. Anyway, so, Exposé. This is what happens when sticky notes get wet. They stick to your notes. Okay. All right. So we're back to the Debbie Gibson era now. We're back in the big hair, the era of singers who sound like the chipmunks on helium. And, so, all right. So that was us, though. That was these girls. They were the 8th most successful girl group ever. They paved the way for the ones that came after. And they replaced half of them. It was confusing. Like the original ones got replaced, fired, or quit, and then they got some new girls to come in, and then some more girls to come in, and I don't know who even are the Exposé. But the name of the band is brilliant, isn't it? Exposé. What's going on today? So their music, not only did they pave the way for other girl groups, first there were the Go-Go's, and then the Bangles, and then, I don't know. But, of course, there was single acts like Madonna. But Exposé was one of them that, was kind of in there, and they were a great dance band, right? So, that's when people think of the 80s, they think of, like, Exposé. Even though they don't know that, the hair, the trends, the clothes, the hot, all of us had neon in our wardrobe, mostly to wear when we went to the gym, We had those leotards that were, the thong ones that you would wear like over a pair of shorts or something and go to the gym. And you had like a little belt, if you were like really cool and hip. And then there would be girls in the bathroom doing their makeup at the gym. And I didn't go that far. And I already had it on from work. You just put your hair in a ponytail and, get into aerobics class with your Avia sneakers and your chunky socks. Right? We were it, weren't we? We were that hot. Single in the 80s. Yes. Anyway. Well, I was in college until 87, so I didn't really do any of that. I was in college, but summers I'd do some of that stuff. Then it wasn't until the late 80s when I really got into that, that whole thing. But so I was in college when these songs. First they so the first song, I was thinking, pesto, 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 point of no return. And I said, who did that song? Pesto, pesto, point of no return. Exposé. So that was the first one that they recorded in like 85. And then they got new girls, and then they re-recorded it in 87, January 87. That was 35, 36 years ago. So I never knew any of this stuff, you know. So there was actually two versions with two different groups. So that's an expose, right? That's something shocking that has deliberately, until now, been hidden from my view, right? That expose was, you know, actually like 2 or 3 different groups. I guess they're still touring, I don't know. But that was the freestyle dance, right? So then they came out with this other song on their album, I guess, their 87 album, Come Go With Me, which I don't know if that was I'll put it off, but that may have been recorded twice. So they had the first songs with the first group of girls, and then singers, and then they re-recorded it with the new members. So that started me thinking, come go with me. Wow. And I said, just for the heck of it, oh my gosh, look at my notes. This is the week in the scriptures where Jesus picks his apostles. So he had John the Baptist, you know, it's sort of like tag, you're it, right? You ever play, you've got, you know, a group of friends, and so you go and somebody's it, and then they tag you, and then you're it, and then they go off somewhere, you know, and then you're it, and then it's your responsibility to tag somebody else. So it's kind of like that in the spiritual path, right? So I was thinking, oh, this is so good. And the rabbit and all that. Okay, so Jesus, you know, he's had this baptism, he's been initiated, and now he's like, okay, so, you know, what am I going to do? I'm by myself. So he goes off to kind of think about it. You know, he goes to the ocean, which, you know, it's the year of the water rabbit. It's yin. Yin is female. The female kind of withdrawing, you know, kind of, you know, I got to go think about things. You know, I'm not, last year it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss that. It's, I got to go to Arizona, I got to do this. Now it's like, whew, no, wait a minute. Let's think things through. What do we want to do? Right? You would think the rabbit. So it's not that tiger, go get him. It's more like, you ever see a rabbit in your yard and they're kind of freeze. They see you. They're eating your grass and they're you know, they're planning their escape. How am I gonna, and then they run like heck through the bushes, right? The minute you turn your back, because they had time to think about where are they gonna go, right? So, you know, that's the thing. It's like you can't keep going. You know, Jesus knew this. Jesus was, you always hear about him retreating. You know, I need a little R&R at the beach. So he goes to the sea because he was a Pisces, which is the fish, right? Fish swimming in 2 different directions. He wasn't born on, you know, he wasn't a Capricorn. That's just when we celebrate Christmas because it's, you know, it's convenient, and you know, people, you know, can roll it into the winter solstice, and but really, Jesus was a Pisces. So of course, when he wants to go, and no, I need a community. He said, I can't just be by myself. I've got to have, you know, like-minded people around me who get me, right? So he goes and he sees these fishermen. You know, he's like, okay, these are my people, right? Because they're fishing, and you know, it's like the Bubble Gum Company. He's not catching anything. Like, why don't you put your net over the other side? You know? Okay, who's this guy telling us what to do with our business? You know? Oh, okay, come go with me. All right. So anyway, yeah, he said, come on with me and I'll make you fishers of men and women, it's assumed, but you know, considering the times. And they were all men. he did have female followers, that we know, but they there was that there was an expose, some of it revealed, but about the women who actually were in his life. Certain people kind of, you know, did away with that, put it away somewhere safe, because it's shocking, uncomfortable to talk about. So anyway, yeah, he had a girl group that wasn't talked about much. Anyway, how did we get from polkas to this? Anyway, that's how I was wondering how I was going to make all this fit. But it, as usual, it did. So you kind of, so there's some themes here, themes for the year, because it's Chinese New Year, so it goes until next January. Being a little more conservative, planning your decisions, reflecting, going within, going with the flow, taking care of yourself so that you don't burn out, so that you can go the long distance, right? Thinking about things so you don't get pesto and glass all over your seat, because that sets you back. It's like the Aesop's fable, right? Like the bunny, he goes out fast, and then he's almost there, so I can take a little rest. And then the tortoise, meanwhile, is, plodding along and crosses the finish line before him, because he wasn't arrogant and proud and thinking which one am I? Oh, Jesus's community was starting to get divided. Like, oh, I'm with this guy, and, I'm with Jesus, and I'm in this. He said, no, it's not about that. It's not about competing. You can't compare a tortoise and a hare. Sometimes, the tortoise wins, but sometimes you need a rabbit. You need different energies. You need different types of people. So it shouldn't be a competitive thing. It should just be to, be the best rabbit you can be. Be the best Zazoo Plazz you can be. Stand out in the rain. Which is probably what the apostles spent a lot of time doing. Standing out in the rain, fishing. So, alright, anyway. Did I get it all in? Exposé, CPAs, Enchante. Anyway, so what I'm looking to do is find my, my community. And that's what Aquarius is about. Aquarius is about universal ideals and universal concepts and communities. It's about the utopia, the future, the group of the future. The ideals of like, who are your people? It's not about, like, you and one other person. It's about you and a group that gets you, that has your back, that, supports each other. And, into the future. And, it's, these, it's funny, the Come Go With Me, it talks about beyond the world of 9 to 5, which is what the fishermen were doing. He said, come leave your nets. He didn't say, okay, you can fish during the day with your nets, and then at night you come with me. No, leave the nets, leave the 9 to 5. That's sort of what's happening right now. I mean, not to say that, none of the apostles had ways of supporting themselves. I know they made tents and things like that. But once they stepped onto that path, that they were supported. There were people who put them up for the night, or, and then threw them out. And they brushed the dust of that town from their feet, and then they went on to the next place. And there were people who, welcomed them and gave them food and shelter from the rain. So, Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Go in and make my turkey chili, and yeah, it's getting a little, and just dry out. So yeah, come go with me, but yeah, where it's warm. Stay warm, stay dry, take care of yourself, and don't watch Fatal Attraction this year. If any of you had seen that movie, it's not a good movie to watch during the year of the rabbit. So, with that wise sage advice, I will talk to you next week. Zazoo Plazz signing out. Soggily. Bye bye. Take care.